Good morning, good morning. Hey Retro, how you doing today? Stupidity is everywhere. This today's stream is totally different from what I had planned to do when I went to bed last night. When I went to bed last night, I had a completely different idea how today's stream was going to go. I had some videos lined up. I had some notes made. I had all kinds of neat stuff set up. Recovering from the gym. Ugh. Now, even when I was active duty, I only did the gym for a few years. And that was when I first joined, uh, because I thought I needed to build up my upper body strength a bit more for the components I was changing on the aircraft. Even though I was used to throwing bales of hay and such around, you use different muscles from throwing bales of hay than you do lifting 60 and 70-pound components or even 45-pound components. So that's particularly, so I spent a couple years doing that. Like I said, when I first joined, to build the muscles to do that. Uh, but other than that, I never really did gym. I never did do workouts. I ran, even with my bad ankles, I ran 4 nights a week, 3 or 4 nights a week, depending on how things went. Uh, especially when I was in Arizona, because you could run year round in the evenings after dark. I got off work at 11, go back to the barracks, change clothes, and I'd run through housing, then down the road to the Pizza Hut they just built. Then I'd run back to the housing unit, then walk through housing to cool down before I got to the barracks. That'd be my cool down walk, would be the half-mile walk through the base housing. That way, by when I got back to the barracks, I could take a shower and then go to bed. Yeah, yeah, okay. Um, the the wife, I don't know if I told you about this. Wife had some blood work done the other day or last week, and they called her up and said her cholesterol was, it wasn't high, dangerous high, but or anything, but they said they wanted to redo her cholesterol in 3 months. So redo her blood work in 3 months because it could have been like they said, it could have been something I made it for breakfast that morning that caused a momentary spike in her cholesterol. So just on the safe side, we've changed our and the timing on it wasn't too bad because uh, every meal I had planned that week was for this week here had to deal with either chicken or turkey. Didn't have any beef meals planned, beef or pork. So that's what we've been eating all week. And I actually even had a couple of vegetarian meals planned. Uh, like tonight's going to be a salad with chicken and fried or stir fried summer squash and zucchini. Last night was barbecued shredded chicken, pulled chicken, shredded chicken, whatever, on keto rolls. So, and then a side salad to go with that. My blood pressure, the doctors and I talk about my blood pressure. I'm in, due to my own issues, I'm in constant pain. That's why I'm on uh, chronic pain program. So, they think my higher than normal blood pressure is caused by that. Oh yeah, retro. I definitely understand that. When my wife when my wife was gone, basically lived on salads. Uh, I basically lived on salads the entire week because it was easier just to make up a salad and keep it in the refrigerator and munch on it as I wanted to as I got hungry. So, I mean, I had some lunch meat in the fridge, but I think I only ate sandwiches one time. Pretty much the rest of the week, I just ate salads. But oh yeah, as much as I love to cook, I hate cooking for one person. I really and truly do. But what I have learned though is um, cooking soups and freezing them, putting them in and freezing them in individual servings works really well for me, for the wife and I at least. Is I may spend all day cooking up 6 quarts of soup or 5 quarts of soup, but they'll put 4 cups into a freezer bag, let it cool, label it, and then put it in the freezer. And then when we want soup, I just pull that out of the freezer and the soup's made. I do the same thing with chili because I always make up a huge pot of chili. I don't really like canned soups though for the most well, depending on the soup. But I mean like chicken noodle soup or anything like that, I make from scratch because I mean, I've already got my chicken stock and broth in the freezer that I've made up. I've got my turkey broth, I've got my beef broth from the rare occasions I've uh make anything where I've got beef bone left over. And what I'll do then is I'll freeze the bones until I have enough to make a beef stock out of it. Like I'll do the same thing with chickens or I'll freeze the carcasses until I have a couple, three carcasses in the freezer, and then I break them out and make up my stock. Then I just go ahead and freeze the stock. But we're lucky enough to have, or we bought a full size freezer and put in our garage, so I've got the freezer space to do it. If I just had to live off the freezer space that I've got in a refrigerator, that'd be a different story altogether. So, uh, but yeah, I definitely can sympathize with how hard it is to cook for one person. Um, when I was single before, and remember, the wife and I didn't get married until I was 30 years old. And when I was single back then, uh, it's hard to believe the wife and I have actually been married longer, more than 50% of the time of my life. Because I was 30 when we got married, and we will be married 34 years this year. So, oh, I do share uh, chicken and such with my cat. Share it with my dog too. I just make sure they don't get used to getting table scraps because that I maybe once a week I feed them table scraps because I just can't understand. Well, I don't want to spoil them and ruin their. They're both on specialized diets from the vet, so and we're trying to get the cat to lose weight because he was indoor outdoor cat until 5 years ago. And when he could go outside whenever he wanted and he'd come inside whenever he wanted. And now he's strictly an indoor cat for the most part. We do let him outside on occasion, but he goes outside every day, but it's only for maybe 15 or 20 minutes. He doesn't get to roam free for hours like he used to. Parody Bear, good to see you again. Welcome, welcome, welcome. But yeah, it's a lot of. But then too, I get an enjoy retro. I get an enjoyment out of cooking. Um, hey Tyre, how you doing today? If I had if I were to design my own dream house, the kitchen area would be probably the largest single room. And I'm talking about just the kitchen area, not dining or anything else. Just the area where I actually cooked and prepared the foods. And then the pantry would be, the pantry would be nice, but I'd have things like pop up storage in my counter space because I hate having stuff on my counters. The only thing that should be on my counter every day would be the coffee maker, and pretty much otherwise, the counter should be empty. But like I'd want to be able to swing up my stand mixer to use my stand mixer. I shouldn't have to carry it like I do now. I'd have all kinds of neat little things built into my kitchen if I could design it myself. But anyway, um, I want to start off with these student strikes, stupid students. And I've got to thank Monkey for this one because Monkey it's Monkey's fault. All right. This is Monkey's fault that I'm even got involved on these student strikes, because my personal opinion, if students go on strike from a school, all right, they should be expelled. If a student doesn't make class, they should be dropped out because they're on strike. They should be dropped from the class. That's, plain and simple. You miss classes for any reason other than being sick or a death in the family, something along those lines, fine. But any other reason, especially you're going on strike because of something happening in a different country, and you miss 3 days of class, you're out. You're dropped from that class. But okay, and
Toxic shock. Yeah, there's currently a female student who is being denied the right to change her tampon that has been in for multiple hours, which leads to an increased risk of toxic shock syndrome. So while you're saying,
I'm a female, I understand.
right, so then you should understand. Okay, what you are not hearing is that if she stands up to use the restroom to change her tampon, they are threatening arrest. So it is not an option for her.
Ma'am, you have an emergency.
Yes, ma'am, I do.
That is an emergency.
No, do you have an emergency? Not your friend that's inside. Do you have an emergency?
That is my emergency.
I don't remember the time that I needed to have an emergency personally to call 911 for help.
I'm sorry, what?
I don't remember a time when it has to be a personal emergency for me to call 911 for help. I am requesting assistance, medical urgent assistance.
What I'm telling you. Okay, so you're telling me your friend in Kirkland needs an ambulance.
She needs.
Is that what you're telling me?
Toxic shock.
Okay. Now, this woman goes to go on strike. She's protesting. She's taken over a building, an office area that they're not supposed to be in. And oh my God, I'm having my period and I need to go change my tampon, but I know if I leave this room to go change my tampon, I'm going to get arrested. So her friends call 911. A medical emergency. So she could go change her tampon without getting arrested. Hey, Sean, welcome, buddy. Yeah, Tyre, you could be arrested in the ambulance, but most cops will not arrest you until after you've been released from the hospital. That way, they're not responsible for your medical bills. That's a that because if you're under arrest while you're in the hospital, that police department or jail facility or whatever is responsible for your medical bills, or can be held responsible for your medical bills. So they won't arrest you until you get out. But this is a stupid student. She planned poorly. Tyre, you know more about than I do then. They're saying it's been in her for a few hours, according to that call. Okay. I have never inserted a tampon. I've never removed a tampon. I've only bought them for my wife on occasion when I was going to the store and she needed them, or if she needed them and asked me to go to the store for her to get them. Yes, I was a good husband. And I took a picture of the box that she had and used that picture to buy the box that she wanted. Yeah, I was not going to buy the wrong ones. But anyway, that too, Sean, you know, but she's in an office, and if she's in there and she is just so down with the cause, first of all, she should have taken extra with her. And she's so down with the cause, hey, drop trial and change it there. And everybody should be with you for doing it, showing how down for the cause you are, that you're willing to let everybody watch you change your tampon. So, but then I got looking, then there's I didn't even listen to this other audio. What's this other audio here? It's got to be just as stupid. Where is it now? There it is. So what's this other one here? It's got to be just as stupid.
No, you're not going to be arrested as soon as you leave the building, right? If you want to go back and get, I don't know. If I knew, I would tell you. Because I don't know.
Okay, who the hell can you call?
So who knows?
Right. Well, I don't know yet. All I know is if we have somebody's medical situation, let's get them the medical attention they need. Let's get her to her room, right? And I'm telling you, when you go out the room, you're not going to be arrested for leaving the building.
She does not know thing. You have verified nothing for her.
All you sent is a letter.
She's not arrested. If she goes to her room, she is arrested.
That's not what I said.
No,
That is not what I said.
You said she cannot.
She wants to protest, but she's afraid she's going to get arrested. Oh, poor little thing. Poor little thing. I mean, you stupid people. Uh-oh, what's going on here with this? The next article, my webpage is refreshing. Oh, good. Now, this is a strike I didn't know was going on. Okay. USF paramedics are checking in on hunger strikers during a sit-in protest. You can tell by the picture. USF, the world is watching. Let's support the terrorist. One of the strikers, Will Unpronounceable, brought blankets and a sleeping bag to keep himself warm at the Patel Center. This is at USF, University of South Florida. 4 paramedics checked striker Will Unpronounceable's vitals in a stretcher on the first hour of the USF Hunger Strike Coalition's 3-day sit-in protests at the Patel Center on Tuesday. The group of students will starve themselves for 3 days till USF stops investing in companies that are, quote unquote, funding genocide in Palestine. Dean of Students Daniel McDonald and Community Service Officer followed Unpronounceable out of the lobby and observed him while USF paramedics checked on him. McDonald said the student on the sit-in must have called unpronounceable an ambulance. After 20 minutes, the ambulance left with the paramedics. As the 7 strikers reached 9 days, so that 3 days is now stretched into 9. Way to go, guys. With no food, Unpronounceable said he's not doing so great. The strikers are still only consuming water and electrolytes. I can't feel my left side of my body, and my arm is really numb this morning. Unpronounceable and strikers were provided donuts and ordered lunch for the other 10 students who were protesting in solidarity with the movement at the Patel Center. Despite choosing not to eat, strikers knew the 8 to 5 protest would hold students for at least 2 of their meals. Yeah, McDonald was leaning on the front desk of the lobbies. The initial protesters set up. William, the signs have to be handheld or freestanding. You can't put them on the floor like that. Unpronounceable held one sign in each of his shaking hands, and the third one supported between his crossed legs and chin. Between day 3 and 8 with no food, 9 strikers dropped out due to health conditions, leaving the movement with the 7 original strikers and 12 solidarity strikers that joined throughout the last 6 days. While the strikers have a bigger cause in expressing dissatisfaction with the university, they are all still students. Why? Why? They've taken over a public building. They should have all been expelled by now. Most protesters had their computers set to online classes or assignments, typing with one hand while holding a sign with another. Whoops, sorry about that. Administrators voiced their health concerns related to starving during the last Board of Trustees meeting. The chairman addressed the strikers with the first few seconds of the meeting. Who cares? Exactly, Sean. Water and electrolytes. Well, why, Sean? You're right. The school, and not only that, but these schools are leftists anyway. They all hate DeSantis because DeSantis has come down with that, the anti-DEI stuff. These schools are all filled with leftists that, support these protesters. They're trying to support them as much as they can. You want some links to these stories? Okay. Here's a link to that one that I just that's on the screen now. Here's a link to the next story, the next one here, the Vanderbilt strikers. Because Vanderbilt's the next school that we're going to talk about here. Come on. Oh, wait, this is still the let's see if there's something here that I'm on this other story, USF. Brown University students with the same demands are stonewalled by the school after a week-long hunger strike last month. And a student at McGill University in Canada was hospital. Oh, this protester had a lot. 34 days. I wonder what they actually consumed. 34 days. Hunger strike. Another McGill protester has not eaten in 23 days. So some of these Canadian protesters, man, they got some. They're showing the gumption behind theirs. All right, now here's the Vanderbilt story. Okay. Pro-terrorist protesters at Vanderbilt University called 911 on Wednesday. Oh, this is the video we showed there at the beginning. Over concerns that protesters tampon during a campus sit-in in support of a boycott and divestments and boycott, divestments, and sanctions movement. All right. Let's see here. All right, the Vanderbilt Generation Action account on Instagram shared a story this week showing the protesters calling 911, with one student heard saying there's currently a female student. Now, we heard all that. Multiple hours, which leads to an increased risk of toxic shock syndrome. The protester says the student has been threatened with arrest by campus police if she attempts to stand up and use the bathroom. There shouldn't be a threat. There should be a promise. They should have already gone in there and arrested all of them. Update. Some of the protesters seem to be panicking. They called 911 because they're worried one will go in shock. They're also worried she'll be arrested. Newsweek has not been able to independently verify the Instagram stuff. In a statement provided to Newsweek, Vanderbilt University said on Tuesday morning a group of students breached the university's main administration building that is closed for ongoing construction and clearly marked as such. Some students physically assaulted a community service officer to gain entrance and proceeded to push staff members who offered to meet with them. That's assault. Why aren't they all in jail? Why are they not in jail? Why? Because they're protesting Israel. They got the right reason to be there protesting, so anything else they do will be overlooked. After the students refused to leave, staff made them aware their actions are violated university property and they would be subject to disciplinary action. After 7 hours, the university began issuing interim suspensions. That's better than nothing, but they should have been arrested. Arrested for assault. The statement also noted the university allows free expressions, but says the safety and well-being of our community is a top priority. The university will take action when our policies are violated. They're not taking much of an action if the police haven't gone in and arrested every single one of them. Oh, Sean, you're right about that. Was that a chick or was that a guy? Some soy boy. Was that a gal or a soy boy? I thought it was a guy's voice, but it could have been a female's voice. But no, I want them. I just don't understand why they're not arrested. I really don't. They should all be in jail. So, and that is that the end of the stupid student stuff here? Because I've got tabs all over the place here opened up. Yeah, I think that's a uh, yeah, I think that's the last of my stupid student strikes. Not the last of my stupid student stuff, or not stupid students, but college stuff that. So while I'm talking about college stuff, what article is this here? Whoops. Oh, okay. Here, yep. This here's more on Vanderbilt. All right. The Vanderbilt protest ended yesterday evening. Early Wednesday morning, after a sit-in administration building began Tuesday, resulted in the arrest of at least 3 students and the removal of many more. Vanderbilt University, keep going down this way. 3 students who sat in the chancellor's office were arrested for assault and bodily injury to another. Though online jail records do not currently list any charges. All 3 students have been released. Sam Schulman, a sophomore member of the protesting group, told the Tennessean that while inside, students were denied access to the building's restrooms, forcing them to urinate in water bottles. Oh, poor little babies. According to all protesters inside the building have been sent to interim suspension letters, which bars them from re-entering the campus pending an investigation. As it should be. As it should be. They may not, let's see here. Students on interim suspension must leave campus immediately and may not return until further notice. That is exactly how it should be. Yeah, a Z or a Zer, you're right about that, Tyre. As you can tell, I was pulling up these articles rather quickly here this morning. And so, let's see. So let me close that tab now. And what's this article here? I've got a piece of good. Should I do the good news article first or the bad news article first? Let's talk some good news here for a difference. Okay. Share this one here. Former Buffalo officer who stopped fellow cop's chokehold on a suspect will get pension after winning lawsuit. A former Buffalo police officer who said she was fired, and she was fired, for interfering when a white officer attempted to choke a black suspect, will receive her pension after winning a lawsuit on Tuesday. The New York State Supreme Court vacated a previous ruling upholding the fire of Carol Horn. In his ruling, the judge wrote that the city of Buffalo recognized the error and has acknowledged the need to undo an injustice from the past. The legal system can, at the very least, be the mechanism to help justice prevail. Okay, so, and I do remember this. Horn gained national attention in 2006 when she said she stopped an officer, and don't even ask me to pronounce it, chokehold on Neil Mack. The guy was handcuffed, and this other cop was choking the crap out of him. She was fired in 2008, months before she was eligible to receive her pension. And they really made up a bunch of crap in order to fire her. The police department there pulled some serious crap over this. And it was wrong that she ended up getting fired over it. So the white cop sued Horn and her lawyer for defamation. The judge found that Horn's lawyer made 8 statements that were considered defamatory and false, including the claim that Horn saved the life of a suspect who was already handcuffed, But Mack maintains that Horn saved his life. He was choking me. I was handcuffed. You're killing him. She reached over and tried to grab his hand from around my neck. Mack sued the 5 officers. Jury found no wrongdoing in a ruling of 5-1. The jury sided with Mack, was the only black person on the jury. In 2018, the white cop was sentenced to 4 months of federal prison for another incident in which he used unlawful and unreasonable force against 4 black teenagers, including slamming their heads into a car. This cop had serious temper issues. He had anger issues. And y'all know, y'all should know if you don't, if you haven't figured it out. I'm not a big fan of a lot of the policing, how it's done today. All right, I'm a big fan of several, especially Jeff Gray. Jeff Gray's, I'm a big fan of his. First Amendment, what they call them First Amendment auditors now. They used to call them cop watchers. But Jeff Gray's a guy that I really appreciate the way he does his stuff, and I've been watching him for years, watching his videos on YouTube for years. So anyway, Horn is going to get all of her back pay. She's going to get almost 15 years worth of back pay, plus interest and everything else that she's been missing out on for all these years. And I like seeing issues. Sean, would she would have had to interfere if it had been the other way around? Sure, go ahead and DM it to me there, or post the link there. But the days of cops being able to just, a cop in, I want to say it was down in Miami several months ago. He, one of the police chiefs, during a public meeting, said the days of them being able to walk up to people and tell them to move along and they had to move along or be arrested or over. And for the most part, I'm glad that that's, and I mean, I'm glad that's the way it is because it is standing up for our constitutional rights. And that's something that people need to be doing. It is standing up for our constitutional rights. The one thing a lot of these people seem to forget, though, is a peaceable protestation, peaceable assembly. And a lot of people seem to forget that word, that is supposed to be peace, peaceable. You're not supposed to be out there damaging property. You're not supposed to be out there taking over roads to where people can't get to work, or somebody may die because they're trying to get medical services or medical services can't get to them. All right, that's not a peaceable protest, assembling peacefully. Okay. Destroying property, busting out windows, setting cars on fire, damaging the furnishings. That's not peaceful protesting. That's not a peaceful assembly. All right, so let's see what you got there, Tyre. Dot, 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 dot. Man, I swear this, Xfinity said that this is supposed to be a faster internet. Well, if it is, I'm sure not seeing it. Holy crap. Your kid, okay. We're going to share this article. You heard my reaction to it. Man robs a bank on his first date with the woman he met on a dating app, and he made her drive the getaway car. Oh, this is from 2016. Okay. On December 5th, 2016, Christopher Castillo took a woman he met on a dating app on their first date. He then robbed a bank and made her drive the getaway. First, the woman picked Castillo up at his parents' house, kicked off the date by sipping wine in the passenger seat of the woman's car. Then he walked into the Bristol County Savings Bank, showed the teller a gun. And the 33-year-old demanded $1,000 because he was really hurting and needed money. Now, that was his date money. Man, he was going to show her a real good time. He's going to spend $1,000 that night. His date later told police Castillo ordered her to drive off, and she obeyed. When she saw police lights behind her, the woman pulled in the parking lot, but the police did not charge her with any crimes. Castillo was later charged with armed robbery and assault on battery on a police officer because he allegedly spat on him. The gun wasn't even loaded. He pled guilty to both charges and was sentenced to 5 years. He's also charged with carrying a illegal firearm, but the charges were dropped when the police found out it was an antique owned by a family member. Wow. Okay, so this article's from 2020 talking about a 4-year-old date then. So he's out of jail now. I mean, if he only got 5 years, he should be out of jail by now. But yeah, that's a Valentine's date she'll never remember or never forget. She'll wish she never remembers. Okay, so let's see. That stupid student there. Which article's this? Da 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 da. Our favorite, one of now the left is, as we know, anybody involved with politics, anybody who comments on politics, we all know we're all, to one way or another, we're all hypocritical one way or another. Even I, and I fully admit it. There are some issues, some situations, some things that go on where I could justifiably be called a hypocrite. I try to hold to my principles. I really do. I try to hold to my principles. But sometimes you just, sometimes you just can't. Sometimes I want to sit there and say, I don't care. Yes, I don't like what they're doing. I don't like what that side is doing, but damn it, let's do it back to them. Let them feel what it's like to have them hit with the same thing. Oh, well, if that had been in San Francisco today, there, Retro, you're right. He'd asked for $945 and he would have gotten away with it. Okay, here we go. So let's. Jon Stewart benefited by 829% over value of his New York City home, even as he labels Trump's civil case not victimless. Now, remember, Trump was found guilty before he ever stepped foot in the court. That trial, I don't understand how this has even held up this long. A man is found guilty. I mean, and it's happened twice that I know of here, where a person is found guilty of the crime by the judge before he ever enters the courtroom. Alex Jones and Donald Trump. Two recent cases where a person was found guilty by the judge, and the only thing going on in the court case was to figure out how much money they were going to take from them. And as far as Trump's case goes, we all know nobody lost money. The banks agreed with him as far as the value of his property. Nobody that he actually did business with felt he did anything wrong. Nobody that he actually was in business with in these any of these cases, any of these loans, felt that he did anything wrong. They agreed with him 100%. They got paid back all their money. They got paid back all their interest. In some of the cases, they even got paid back early. Comedian Jon Stewart ranted this week that Donald Trump's civil real estate case overvaluing his properties was not victimless. Yet when it comes to his own home, Stewart benefited from similar inflation. On Monday night, Stewart, 61, unpacked Trump's $454 million appeal bond, calling out experts framing the former president's New York civil case was not causing direct harm to any individual. The Daily Show host rolled a clip of CNN's Laura Coates interviewing Shark Tank star Kevin O'Leary, who commented that the ruling didn't go over well with real estate industry that is now fretting over the possibility of becoming the next target. And remember, James has come out. Letitia has come out saying, oh, don't worry, people. We're not going to go after anybody else with this law. We're only going after Trump. Just like the law that they passed and got Trump over on the E. Jean Carroll case, that law was in place for 1 year specifically to get Trump. That was it. Coates responds to O'Leary by highlighting that Trump was found liable for falsifying business records in the second degree, issuing false financial statements, insurance fraud, and conspiracy, all due to asset inflation. Everything you just listed is done by every real estate developer everywhere on earth in every city. This has never been prosecuted, O'Leary replied. In response, Stewart said, how is he not mad about this overvaluations in the real world? Because they are not victimless crimes. I hate when they have all these pictures like this. They don't need them all. To further his point, Stewart argued the money isn't infinite. Yes, money is infinite. A loan that goes to a liar doesn't go to someone who's giving more honest evaluations, so the system comes incentivized for corruption. Stewart also contended that failing to declare a higher market value on a property while paying taxes based on lower assessed value constitutes fraudulent behavior. All right. So what he's saying, and I'm going to use my own house here. My property taxes on my house right here. I get $50,000 deferment because of homestead exemption in the state of Florida. If things go the way I hope they go and the way my lawyers hope they go, I'll get an even further reduction in my property values because of me being declared disabled to work by Social Security Administration. I'll get further deferment on my property taxes. I'll still have to pay some property taxes, but just not as much. My land value assessment, though, will stay the same. But my land value assessment is only at $100,000 right now, though I paid $140,000 for it. And I just turned down an offer again for $250,000. No, $225,000. So, should I be paying property taxes? I mean, somebody's offered me $225,000 for my house. Should my property taxes be based on what somebody just offered me for it? Should my property taxes be based on what I could sell it for? Or should it go by the assessment by the gentleman or lady that is hired by the state or the county to assess land values? It's like this whole nonsense with Mar-a-Lago being valued at 18 million when he paid 20 million for it. And the properties next door to it being valued at 100 million. Get real. The Attorney General of New York knew Trump's property values were inflated because when it came time to paying taxes, Trump undervalued the very same properties. It is all part of a very specific real estate practice known as lying. Now, this is what Stewart is saying. All right. Internet sleuths took a look into Stewart's own property history, which shows his New York City penthouse sold for 829% more than his assets value. In 2014, Stewart sold his 6,280 square foot Tribeca duplex for $17.5 million. But according to the assessor's records, the estimated value was only $1.8 million. So was he lying about what his property was worth and he was underpaying by $16 million worth of value on his property taxes? The actual assessor evaluation was even lower at $847,000. Records show that Stewart paid significantly lower property taxes, which were calculated on the assessor valuation price, precisely what he called Trump out for doing on his Monday monologue. Pandy, who purchased the penthouse from Stewart, then resold the property at a 26% loss, just over $13 million in 2021. So, but seriously though, I can see the point here. Jon Stewart's being a bit of a hypocrite. Hey, Raman, how you doing this morning? Glad to see you. Well, I'm glad you're doing great there, Raman. I really am. I'm doing the same as always. I was expecting my daughter-in-law to be swinging by, bringing her 120-pound lapdog over for us to stay, but I just got a text from my wife saying that they're not coming over until 6 o'clock tonight now. So at least I'm not going to hear the heavy-duty barking. and at least y'all won't be forced, have to listen to the heavy duty barking. Uh, man, I really want to buy one of these new knives, but man, I don't want to spend $180 right now. The Cooking Guild's got some new knives out that really look nice, and they're having buy one get one free. And I think today's the last day. Get a free chef's knife along with any other knife order. And I really would. Uh, I am addicted to sharp, pointy things. Even if I don't, I've got a couple I haven't used twice in the past year for cooking. I got a couple, but man, when I use them, man, you can hear them things thunk into around the house. Now, of course, Stewart's got his defenders, and it's I'm I'm just going to simply, for me, I look at it this way. I disagree with the Trump's persecution under these laws that they're suddenly finding. And I would no more want to see Jon Stewart prosecuted. However, if Jon Stewart feels that the Trump prosecution was the correct prosecution to be had, then he should be standing up there saying, okay, I need to go ahead and plead guilty because I did the exact same thing. If he was a man of honor, then he would stand up and say, yes, sir, I need to go down and plead guilty to this crime. But Orange Man bad. You're exactly right there, Retro. Now, keep going on the hypocrisy here. Let's see, close that tab. Let's see here. I can close that tab. And now I can close. Oh, okay. Let's see here. Australian soccer team with 5 transgender players. This is a women's soccer team. Goes undefeated in women's tournament. Huge difference in ability. Wow, gee whiz. What, who is not surprised by that? Okay. What's going on with this here? Trump leads Biden by 5 points in new national poll. Trump is, they are in the media push and in the political push to destroy Trump. His supports, his there goes my mouse to the floor. His support is just growing. And I'm getting ready to go and buy, when I get off the stream today, I've got to go get gas. I got to go pick up some medication at the pharmacy and get some gas. I've got a half a tank in my truck. Just 4 years ago, that half a tank would have cost me about $24 to fill up. It's going to cost me anywhere between $35 to $42 to fill up today, depending on where I get gas and whether or not I use any of my points to take. I think I've got enough points to take 30 cents a gallon off. But I usually save up my points for when I'm needing a lot of gas. That's one of the stories I've got lined up here, Ramen, to talk about. So we'll just go ahead and go to that. We've all been, I don't know about you guys, but I've been a lot of stories have been coming across my feed about squatters. A lady in Arizona comes home to find a bunch of bikers living in her house. And the police tell her they can't do anything about it. And she has to keep paying the mortgage and electric bill and water bill. A woman in New York inherited a house. The house sat empty, not neglected, just empty, while she lived in another, didn't live real close to there, I don't think. She's been spending months trying to get squatters out. Months. And she ended up arrested for being in her own home. And how is the squatter getting the right to stay in that house? He showed repair bills that he hired somebody to come out and fix the door. And since he paid somebody to do repairs at the house, and it was probably a door he damaged, but because he showed that he'd paid somebody to do repairs at the house, he gets to live there until a judge tells him he has to move out. Yeah, Retro, you're right. It wasn't empty. It was just unoccupied. And this has been, and then you had that Venezuelan that I showed yesterday, I believe, that sent out a TikTok video all in Spanish telling people how they can take over homes in the United States and, come up and get a free house. Well, now he sent out another video that I just saw it wasn't on TikTok because TikTok evidently took his channel down, took his account down, but he sent out another video holding his baby, how the police are after him and he's now in big trouble and yada, 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 I shut it off. I just started laughing. It's like, okay, you FAFO here, my friend. Yep. So Neil, but anyway, DeSantis and the Florida legislature. Let's see here. Yep. Need to come back over here to share this. The Florida legislature passed a bill that DeSantis signed, HB 3, I believe, off the top of my head. All right. Anti-squatting professional celebrates Florida ban as other states frustrate homeowners. Other states' laws. All right. As squatters make headlines in New York and elsewhere, Florida passed laws seeking to criminally outlaw the off-civilly litigated situation, the practice of squatting or living in a home against the wishes of the homeowners. Is becoming a trend in the United States. Yes, it is. However, upon passage of a bipartisan state law in Florida that effectively bans the ability for an unwanted house guest to stay as long as they want, the self-described anti-squatting activist and professional squatter remover told Fox News he hopes more states will follow suit. Flash Selton first encountered squatting when individuals made themselves at home long term at his mother's California house when his father died. So let's see here. Where's the HB 3? Let's see what they talk, if they actually talk about what HB 3 does. Let's see. Yeah, here's the woman in Flushing was arrested when she attempted to change locks on $1 million home she inherited, while a man inside the abode called the police. 2 or 3 purported squatters have since fled. They did arrest one squatter because I've been here for 3 days. Okay, well, they managed to arrest him. Now, the story about the $2 million home in Douglaston, because the former caretaker is still there, that one is interesting. That doesn't seem to be everything that is there. There seems to be something else there. All right, so this article doesn't go into HB 3, so let me try to find Florida HB 3. I'm hoping I remember that. Oh, no. HB 3 is the anti-squatting. HB 3 was actually the come on, you know how to spell squatting. Oh, it's HB 621. All right. So we can share this here. Lawmakers passed HB 621, which removes the premise of squatters' rights from Florida statute, gives police the right to immediately remove squatters and to make it a felony for an invader to do $1,000 of damage or more to the property. It also makes it a felony, it's not listed there real quick, that if you show a fake lease, that is also a felony. So now I don't know if it got rid of this adverse possession law. If a squatter lives on a property continuously for 7 years, they'll have the right to file adverse possession. That means you just simply take it over. There was a guy in Texas that did that, and he just moved from house to house to house doing adverse possession. So it's good to see that they are that, and more states need to do this. More states need to take care of this problem. And some of this is from the laws that these people passed during the pandemic. Not, where landlords couldn't kick people out for not paying their rent. Well, effectively, they legalized squatting. Because that's what squatting is living someplace without paying rent. And if you're not paying rent on a place, the landlord or whoever owns that property is not going to give you permission to stay there. So this is just coming full circle around, it's like, what was I talking about the other day? What bill was I was talking about the other day that I could DeSantis and the Florida bill for getting on social media. All right. The premise is good. Okay. The idea of it is good. You don't want to protect the kids from getting on some of these social media sites and being damaged or whatever from them. Okay. You want to protect the kids from the creepers and such that are out floating on social media. Well, the idea is good. The application is bad. It's not the state's job to come in and be a parent to the children. You're right about that, Raman. Yeah, so they that's a problem with a lot of our politicians, and I know I'm going off on yet another tangent. This train, if y'all haven't figured out this train's got no tracks by now, something's wrong with you. But the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Well, these are good intentions, yeah. We don't want people thrown out of their houses because families thrown out of their homes or out of where they're living because they can't afford to pay the rent for pandemic or they lost their job or whatever. We need to have a little sympathy for them. Blah, 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 blah. But it's not the government's job to step in and do it. It's not the government's job to step in and tell and be somebody's mommy and daddy. It's not the government's job to step in and tell a homeowner that they have to let somebody else live with them or live on their property. That's not the government's job to do that. As much as we would like to say and believe, and have sympathy for the families or for the individuals on the raw end of the stick, it's not government's job to do that. Now, if you as an individual want to step in and help them, or you as an individual be with a group of other individuals who want to step in and help them without government involvement, man, more power to you. You're angels on earth. If you're a parent that's concerned about what your kid is getting on the internet and how what they're seeing and who they're talking to and such, you have the ability to take those steps. It's not the government's job to step in and be your parent, to be the parent that you're supposed to be. It's really not. And that's where I'll disagree with people on both sides of the aisle when they want to step in and say, we need the government to do this. Now, that's not to say for the government to step in and say you cannot it is illegal for a minor, somebody 17 years of age or younger, to permanently destroy their body by taking drugs that will inhibit their natural body growth, the natural growth of their body that is not detrimental that is natural for their body, i.e. puberty. You don't give puberty blockers to a 10-year-old because the 10-year-old wants to fit in with the cool kids and say that they're something that they're not. A 10-year-old can't say that they're Superman and you give him pills to make him think he's Superman. You can't do that. That's detrimental to the kid. That's detrimental to their life. Now, if an 18-year-old goes and says, "Hey, my name is Clark Kent, and I need these pills that are available to make me more like Superman, or make me think I look like Superman, or whatever," then hey, they're an adult, and if they want to destroy their body, more power to them. But as long as they're 17 years of age or younger, they don't. Now that kind of law, that's a law I can support. Now, is it hypocritical of me? I don't think so. I think it's right for the state to step in a situation like that. Like it's right for the state to step in and tell a 10-year-old he can't go get either "God Bless America" or "Go Screw Yourself" tattooed across his face. It's not the message that I don't want the kid to tattoo on their face. I don't want the kid to get a tattoo on his face, regardless of the message. But an adult, as long as it's not hurting someone else, an adult can do whatever the hell they want to do to their body. But Raman, how do you get this? Okay, you want to ban kids from being on social media. That's fine. All right. Okay. You want to ban kids from being on. I do not go by any social media by my real name. Some social medias do not even have my real name in any way, shape, and or form. Because I want to keep myself as anonymous as possible. Because, well, when I first started, is because I was active duty military. And then the lefties started getting stupid and going out to people's jobs and protesting at their jobs and getting them fired. And then some really crazies started calling cops on people and swatting them. Hey, Spoonie. So how do you make it social media to make it illegal for a kid to be on social media without taking away my right to be on social media without having my name all over the place and giving social media my real name and address and everything else to where that can get found out and given to somebody who may wish ill upon me personally. Well, I'm glad you're trying to be positive today, Ramen. No, it's I just that's a balancing act. I don't think. Yeah, you're right, Tyre. If somebody really wanted to track me down, I'm sure I've made enough mistakes over the 4 years I've been streaming that somebody could track me down if they really and truly wanted to. If they went back and watched enough of the old vids, I've given away enough information or accidentally given away something that people could track me down if they wanted to. Hey, Ramen.
Hi, good morning. What's up?
How's my favorite noodle head doing?
I was cooking in my revamped kitchen last night. I was so happy. Yes. Anyway, okay, here's the thing with social media. If someone disputes that an account is yours or it's a duplicate account, like Facebook is notorious for this. If someone says, you're not really Joe Black, you're some woman in Alabama, you're not Joe Black from Sweden, Facebook will demand a photo of your government ID that has a photo in it and has all your info in it. So when you're signing up for, at least for Facebook, you're pretty much, at their mercy for showing all your ID and stuff at any time.
Okay.
So I mean, they're not,
If you want to keep your account, you're right.
So honestly, I don't think under 16 or like these little fucking tweenies, they shouldn't be on the internet. And if you watch something, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, this movie is horrifying and it's a little exaggerated as far as behaviors. But you go watch Megan is Missing and don't let your kids see it because it is fucking horrible. You will never let your kids near the internet again unattended.
Well, see, now that's just it. When my son, and granted, now my son's been married for a while, out of the house. But when my son was in the house, the computer he used was set up in the living room where the wife and I could see the screen. And he had a flip phone. He didn't have a smartphone. Now, the wife and I both had smartphones. He didn't have one.
I didn't have a flip phone, but I had one of these little things from Motorola, and it had the little pressable keyboard, not like the on-screen keyboard. It was a little thing, and you could take grainy pictures with it, but you couldn't do video or anything. That was my first phone.
That was the same kind of phone my son had. It was just, and it could send a text and receive a text, and that was it.
Yeah.
And then he only got that phone when the wife and I gave it to him.
Okay, now I got a question for you.
Yeah.
What is a valid reason for these little 13-year-olds to be on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all these sites where they can trade pictures and message each other? What's a valid reason for them to be on that?
I don't have one.
So why?
I do not have a valid reason or give a valid reason for my son or daughter
or anybody's kid
to be on on any of the social media sites. Okay. However,
Shh.
okay, that's my child. I am not the parent to every child in the state of Florida, and neither is the government. And if my next door neighbor wants to allow their children to have social media under whatever rules my next door neighbor has set up for their family, that's their issue, not mine. Because as long as they are not harming the child, physically harming the child or mentally, harming the child through, the drugs and anything else, abuse, anything that's legally called abuse, then that's their family.
You know what? It's a good point, but there is nothing benefiting them on social media that they can't already do on their phones without social media. You can message your friends, and if you don't have your own phone line, there's Skype, there's Discord, there's all kind of messengers that their parents can supervise a lot easier than social media. That's all I'm saying. They don't. It's not. There's no benefit to it. There's no benefit socially. There's no benefit educationally, and it's more of a risk than them using either a cheap phone line that they add up that a parent adds onto their own account, or just using one of those messengers.
I don't disagree with you.
I have no. You know what? Y'all know my kids are gullible as hell because they're. Hello, princess.
Mommy,
Yes, princess.
am I behaving on Saturday?
We are going on Saturday. How's that sound?
Great.
All right. Thank you.
Where are you going on Saturday?
Movies. The new Kung Fu Panda 4.
Great.
Oh,
And 4 on Saturday?
Yes, princess.
Are you taking the large present?
I will take you fries. Okay? We
Great.
will go. You okay now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you leaving at 1 o'clock Saturday?
Yes.
well, she went from crying to laughing in a hurry.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. She's a very good beggar. It's really sad.
See,
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you on that point, but I don't think it's the state's job. I don't think it's the government's job to step in and dictate that to every family under their control.
But at that point, you can just argue there's no need for CPS under those same fucking arguments, because we all know there's parents that are shit parents that throw a tablet at their kid and they say, "Go play, honey. Mommy's playing slots on Facebook," and they just leave their kids alone for hours. We know this. We've seen it.
Yes.
And I was never that parent, but this really just bothers the fuck out of me because it's too easy. It's too easy for a predator to go, "Oh, is this so-and-so?" And they go, "No, it's Charlie." "Oh, I'm sorry, Charlie. I thought you were a friend of mine. I've been looking for him for months." "Oh, hey, I see you like such and such game. I like that game too. Add me and I'll give you." And that's how they open the door. That's one way to open the door. And next thing you know, your kid's fucking missing because they went to the park to talk to a 15-year-old older friend who's really 35, and some other dude from another country talked to him about something. Next thing you know, your kid's fucking gone. Just saying. It's the trafficking here between Florida and Tennessee and all these states now. It's really fucking insane. And we've had so many missing kids cases. And no, it's not related to social media. We know this. But
Right.
it's not just parents involved in a lot of these cases.
I understand what you're saying, and you're right in many of these cases. That many parents. But when I was a kid, it was go outside and play.
Yeah, me too.
Don't
No,
come
my
ba-
mom didn't.
don't-
do that. It was my brother.
Don't come back. Don't come back in the house
Till the
until
street lights come
supper
on.
until supper time.
Yep.
All right.
My friends
You
not
know,
that lucky.
You've got to watch on your hand. We eat supper at 6.
Mm-hmm.
Walk in the door 10 minutes till to wash up and sit down.
Yep.
Okay. uh, we would get on our bicycles and we'd be miles away from home. And that was, again, there was no cell phones. There was no way for them to contact us
Nope.
or us to contact them unless we stopped at somebody's house and asked to use their phone.
Hmm.
Okay. And then they were nice enough maybe to let us go into their house to use their phone because, of course, cell phones weren't invented in the 70s and 80s,
Right.
60s and 70s in my case. So, I mean, is there a difference between my parents kicking me out of the house to go outside and play in the world,
Yeah.
or parents handing the kids a tablet and tell them to go play in the virtual world?
Sure, there is. Your parents were sending you to play out with friends that they knew, or they knew you knew who they were. They're not sending you on the internet to talk to a fake 16-year-old girl who's really a 40-year-old guy from Serbia or some shit.
Remember, the Candyman vans have been around since before I was born.
I never saw those. I've seen ice cream trucks, but I've never seen a Candyman. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Okay, no, that was never. I grew up in New York where you think that thing would be prevalent, but I was in a small town and I never saw that.
And so,
Also, we had nosy
I-
ass neighbors. If they saw something like that, they would run him out of town. There actually was a trucker that used to park across the street from my apartment building. And he was kind of a nice guy, but he started getting more aggressive. And
Right.
I was like 13, 14, whatever. And he used to park there on his lunch break. And he was young and skinny. He looked harmless. And we'd chat while I was walking my dogs. That was the extent of it. And then I mentioned to someone, I'm kind of getting uncomfortable because he won't stop talking to me. And next thing you know, he never showed up again. So you can't do that with the internet.
Again, like I said, I can't. I'm not arguing against what you're saying.
I get that. And I
That
appreciate that.
I'm just saying I don't think it's no more the government's job to tell today's parents they can't let their children play in the virtual world no more than it was the government's right to tell my parents to let me play in the real world.
It was just a different time back then,
And
doing the Adam Walsh thing. There was this myth going around of stranger danger when I would say like 95% of these kidnappings were done by people they actually knew and were connected to, like a relative or something. It was just totally different back then. Stop, please. You want to live, you need to stop. Okay. Sorry. I love my children. Proof of life right there. They're still here.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But
yeah. But you got to admit, parents are a lot shittier than they used to be. I mean, and not, I know you're a good dad and, you're close with your family and everything, but let's be really fair.
I'm not going to say
I feel like I put you on the spot there, but
I'm just going to say 30 parents.
Sure.
I mean, hell, even on shows like Gunsmoke, every now and then there'd be an episode, or The Rifleman. Okay, these are family-oriented TV shows, right? And there would be episodes dealing with parents who physically abused their children.
Absolutely. Look at Good Times. There's always programs with stuff like that.
Okay. Well, I was going back to the old black and white TV shows.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't even talking about shows that were in color. I'm talking about TV shows that were broadcast in black and white.
Age of Innocence, yo.
Before when what was broadcast was really under strict scrutiny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Versus today, and even then, they would show abuse of parents. So, abusive parents is nothing new.
Right.
Child abuse is not a new issue. Child neglect is not a new issue. I mean, that again, that was stuff that was shown on TV shows
Yep.
when TVs were all black and white and had tubes and outside antennas and rabbit ears on top and tin foil attached to the rabbit ears.
It used to bother me when they would bring up stuff like latchkey kids. All the latchkey kids I knew were actually taught how to heat up food and occupy themselves till their parents got home. They weren't
Right.
neglected. They were just, taught to, deal with real life and shit. So, you know.
Well, I mean,
Oh, Tear, don't start that shit. It's such trash. I'm sorry. Tear's talking about the trailer for Netflix's Good Times. They're doing a sequel to Good Times in cartoon form.
oh, are they?
It's fucking horrible.
Oh,
The graphics are horrible. The whole, the fucking content is just trash. It's all trash.
not dear. I don't have Netflix, and
I wish I
the only time I keep up with what's going on Netflix is when it happens. Like this Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight.
Yeah,
That's
it's pure garbage.
you
It'll
know.
hurt your head. I'm gonna call. No. Ha! Right, Retro? No, it's not. No?
Oh yeah, you're right about that. Then that's a thought that didn't even pop in my mind that it would be race swapped.
They're the protagonist.
That
You can't race swap it.
well, not only that, but there's no redheaded women in it.
I bet you anything, though, when they have the pimps with the gold watches in their deck and going, want to buy a watch, I bet you that guy's white, though. Anyway,
So
we digress. I think we're just going to have to agree to disagree on this one, but I don't know. I just think all this tech is enabling neglectful parents, and it's normalizing it. I mean, my kids have tablets.
Now, do I think my son and my daughter-in-law give my grandson too much tablet time? Yes.
But they're not setting him up on Instagram and shit.
I mean, we had him and for an evening back during Christmas. He spent the night with us one night, close to Christmas, and we went out to look at Christmas lights, and all he did was look at his tablet the whole time.
Oh.
He never looked off of his tablet to see any Christmas lights whatsoever. While the wife and I are both trying to point out all these Christmas lights.
Hey, you go to Enchanted Place in Miami. Where do you go to look at your Christmas lights?
There's a town a bit away that has they do up all their parks and lights.
Oh, okay.
And then there's a couple of churches that do some major lighting displays. I mean, we're talking 30-minute walkthroughs.
Oh, man. There's a place, it's because that time of year the traffic is really bad. It's like a 40-minute drive, so I won't go there. Plus, you have to go on I-90 on the, no, fuck I-95. But at night, and FPL cuts them a deal on the power, but the whole street, both sides of the street are decked out, the yards in Christmas lights. They have giant trees, like fake trees lit up. They've got the little Yoda Santas and all. I mean, they have all kind of crap. And one house has a big train going around a tree, and but they do it for like a couple of weeks, and
Right.
you don't get out of your car. You just drive one way and then back the other, see the other side, and they take donations for different causes. Like I think for a while it's cancer, and I think now it's AIDS. I'm not sure what it is now, but yeah, we do that like almost every year. It's beautiful, but I wish there was more stuff like entire towns doing it, like where you're at. But yeah, we have to go all the way to Miami to see that shit.
Oh, well, now they've got whole parks set up that they do stuff in. So
Yeah.
it's kind of nice. And
We
you know
went
they
to.
and the like the churches all of course have donation stations set
Right.
up. You can donate. And then they'll uh Swiss Miss coffee for $2.
Oh
You
wow, I never
know,
heard that. That's cool.
it's the one packet of Swiss Miss and 12 ounces of hot water. So they're making they spend $6 on a box of Swiss Miss, box
It's not even.
of 48 packages of Swiss Miss,
Oh, okay.
and they're making a couple hundred. They're charging $2 a packet.
Gotta do it for your kids. It's all for the atmosphere, man.
So they still got to pay the electric bill and such. So
Oh, okay. I'm surprised.
you
But
know,
okay.
so I don't mind donating. We may donate $5 to walk in, and then
Yeah.
another $4 for Swiss Miss. What the hey? But again, I think the government is too involved in everybody's day-to-day life.
I'm not gonna
That
argue with you there.
and to me, that's where this comes down. Is at what point do we say, all right, this is none of the government's, even though I agree with the sentiment, it's not the government's job.
Okay. Hey, that's what makes things spicy in here. We all got different opinions.
Yeah.
So.
And
it's not gonna ruin our friendship just to disagree. So dude.
And I'm not mistreating you by disagreeing with you.
Hey, I like it. Bring it. Bring it. I'll smack you, Dan, and I get smacked back. That's how we roll here.
I'm not being rude to you by disagreeing with you.
Nope. I came here expecting it. I got what I asked for. Listen, you haven't heard me and Walt argue about abortion tooth and nail and go, hey, you want to watch a movie? Sure, babe, let's go. It's like if you are friends with a woman and you can't call her a heinous cunt, is she really your friend? No, I don't think she is. So yeah.
All right. Let's see here. I got to talk about it since I've got it on the thumbnail.
Okay. Was it?
All right. Ronna McDaniel.
Who the hell is this bitch? I don't follow this stuff.
She was the chairwoman of the RNC.
Republican National Convention. Oh, now my mic died. My headset died. Say something. My shit died. Okay, here we go. This is God telling me I went too far. Let me test my audio. Shit. Okay, hello? Oh, okay. Welcome to the Romney Show, y'all. Yeah, I thought it was me and this shitty. Oh, no. I can't do this. I was not prepared. I didn't bring a script. I don't have topics. Let's talk about the new bullshit Good Times garbage. Who else saw that fucking trailer? What? Dude, this is too much responsibility. You better get your ass back in here because I can't do this. Thank you, sir. I don't know if it died, but you're not showing up in the stream anymore. And I'm sitting here under so much pressure. If it don't stop soon, I'm going to go ahead and start fire up a video game for the last, 20 minutes or so. I don't even know. It's almost 12 anyway. Hurry up, come back. Fix this for us. Let me reboot. Okay, you reboot. So yeah, every time I hear Ronna Daniels, I keep trying to say Ronald McDonald. Like, and I'm always disappointed. I see her picture. She's not in clown makeup with the big clown shoes, honk, honk, honk. You know, that's just me though. I'm sure. I just want y'all to be infected with that image and see it every time you hear her name. He needs to hurry up, reboot. I'm running out of material. I'm here till Friday. Try the veal. Tip your server. I don't even know. I know. Listen, I got a life to live. I got shit to do. I'm not going to talk about what I do in my kitchen. It's so cute now, but I'm not going to talk about it. But I got to say, it looks bigger and it's nice and organized. And I'm happy to be in there. Oh, thank God, dude. I'm just babbling. This is like my worst nightmare. I feel like some guy is about to say, do you want to play a game? You know, I'm going to see that little tricycle going through with that little clown fucker. Yeah, no. No, Billy, not today. He'll be like, you ignored your viewers for a year. Now you have to talk to people against your will. Do you have the will to stay alive? No, I do not. Just fucking kill me now, motherfucker. Let's fight. I got my sleep hammer. Let's do this. Don't make me talk to people. Shit. I saw that last Saw movie though. That was actually pretty good. It's back to basics, you know? And it's like kind of, it's not retconning, it's taking place between 1 and 2 or between 2 and 3 or something. So it's early and you know the age. I mean, come on. These people did not age well, but I bought it. It was cool, you know? It was a good movie. You didn't have 15 people involved and complicated machines. It was just, it was a good, y'all want to see it? You should go see it. I'm seriously endorsing that movie. That was a good one. Ralph has been trying to catch me up on all the shit I've never seen. Like Midway and the...
I'm
Oh,
back.
thank God! Don't do that to me again, motherfucker. Oh my God, I can't do this.
No, my computer completely locked up. I had to do the Control-Alt-Delete thing.
I'm going to blame, wait, who said, I'm blaming Retro because he brought up Reswap Different Strokes. He fucking jinxed us. God said, okay, that's enough now.
Okay.
That
Now
was our
all
one
the
more.
back, all, now my,
Your background's gone, huh?
well, actually, no, because it popped up, you know, the Chrome shut down unexpectedly. Do you want to restore pages?
Oh my God.
And so I did the restore pages and
I love that.
everything came back.
Yeah, I do love that.
So, well, just about everything came back.
The important
But,
stuff came back.
right. Well, StreamYards came back. Okay. So here we go. All right. So Ronna McDaniel, she got kicked out. She got fired from the, Ronna McDaniel. She got fired from the RNC
Republican National Convention
committee.
Committee.
And
Okay.
she was wasting crap tons of money. And not winning elections like she should have been winning.
How's she different from half the politicians out there?
Right. And she was the one wasting a crap ton of money on having flowers sent to her office every day. And
every fucking day. Are you kidding me?
It might not have been every day, but I mean, she was spending
flowers will last a fucking week at least.
She was spending a crap ton of money on fresh flowers and meals and such that
you can buy flowers on the side of the road from some dude with a sign for like $10. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, you know, it's so anyway, NBC goes and hires her as a political commentator.
Oh
You know,
no.
just like, you know, when Pataki left the White House, NBC hired her as a political commentator.
I feel like
All
we're
right.
back in the one.
Well, the NBC talking heads all went ballistic
Of course they do.
at McDaniel being hired. Now,
He's a Republican.
I've got no love for McDaniel.
Okay.
All right, but the pure hypocrisy of the left of MSNBC, you know, they welcomed Pataki with open arms, even though she directly was, you know, a spokeswoman for Biden. And then they turn around. And so let's see here. Share this. Well, they turn around then, these people,
They look like goose.
she lasted, I think, 3 days, and she was fired at NBC. And this was, let's just listen to these two talking. Well, let's see.
Yeah.
They're both liars and hypocrites. So we'll just
yeah.
go here. All right. Whoops.
He sent a memo that we all got as employees here, rescinding the hiring of Ronna Romney McDaniel. And I know I felt very strongly about it. I know you felt very strongly about it. I think everyone from 4 o'clock on, from Nicole all the way to midnight, we all felt very strongly and said so on our respective shows yesterday. And I just have to say, when somebody does the right thing, I feel like it should be acknowledged as publicly as we acknowledged our out.
All right. So they were all outraged that they would hire somebody who, you know, that wasn't an anti-Trumper.
Oh.
Okay. You know, they'd have no problem hiring, I can't, what the hell, the VP's daughter. Bush's.
Ashley? Wait, I forgot her fucking name. It's not Ashley, is it?
No.
Oh, Bush. Oh, I know. Not
No.
Laura. That was the wife.
No, the vice president, Bush's vice president's daughter. She was a senator on January 6th committee.
Oh, okay.
Come on, Retro, help me out with her name. Began with the SH, SCH.
I was gonna say Shannon, but SCH.
No, her last name.
Oh.
Remember the vice president that shot the guy in the face?
Fuck.
Yeah.
Cheney.
Okay, Liz Cheney. They'd have no problem if NBC had hired Liz Cheney. They'd have no problem. They'd have no problem if they'd hire the Zingleberry, you know, the male Republican on the January 6th committee. All right. They'd had no problem with that because these guys hated Trump. You're right. Well, McCain, the McCain chick, she barely survived The View. So I don't know how MSNBC would take to her. Okay, but you know, if these people would love it if they'd hired Liz Cheney. All right, because she was an anti-Trumper, and they could use that, especially with Trump running. All right, they'd have her on speaking out against Trump and what an evil man he is, and how he, you know, caused the January 6th insurrection, the worst attack on DC ever, yada, 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 yada. But because that wasn't the way Ronna McDaniel was, these people blew gaskets to the point that they threatened to go on strike.
outrage. And so I know how I feel about it. I am grateful to Caesar for actually making the right decision. I think it was the right decision, but I want to get your take as well.
Oh, well, thank you for asking me about it. I still feel like I still feel like a little. It always feels wrong to talk about things, in the company
Agreed.
as if it's news, and it's just this. It's
Yeah.
not the way either you or I are wired.
all.
I know, but I will just say that journalists are a fractious bunch. And in our big company with all sorts of different journalistic entities, you have all sorts of different people working in this business, doing all sorts of different kinds of work. And to see the essentially unanimous feeling among all the journalists in this.
And I'm no Ronna McDaniel fan. I'm not a fan of hers. But these people hated her because she is not a lefty.
Right.
And she is not an anti-Trumper to the point that they want an anti-Trumper working for NBC. Remember, they're all about diversity of skin color and gender, but not about diversity of thought. And Ronna McDaniel, even as a commentator, would be too much out of their mainstream for them to handle.
Building and all the
That's it.
sort of senior staff and all the producers and everybody in this building about this was one thing. But then to see the executives and the leadership hear that and respond to it and be willing to change course based on their respect for us and hearing what we argued, I have deep respect for that. I do.
Y'all know, what they're really saying is here, we've proven we run this company.
Mm-hmm.
And what we want goes. Now, I mean, I've been unable to watch NBC with any credibility or MSNBC with any credibility for years. And this just further shoots it down when they can't even stand to have somebody that doesn't march in lockstep with them at all on the network with them, giving an opposing views. I never liked the equal time regulations that the FDA used to have. I don't know if you're old enough to remember these, Raman, but it used to be part of the rules with the FSC, Federal
FCC?
Communications Commission, FCC, used to be part of the rules that if you gave one side 3 minutes, you had to give the opposing side 3 minutes.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, the fairness doctrine. You absolutely had to do that. Well, with the advent of cable television, they finally got rid of that because the FCC, believe it or not, does not control cable TV. They only cover broadcast television
Okay.
and
Did not know that.
broadcast radio. All right. Now, do a lot of the cable networks follow the general guidelines of the FCC? Yeah, like you don't see HBO showing, their more sexual shows during the daytime.
Okay.
But they could. Cinemax, back when Cinemax was a thing, I don't know if they're still a thing or not, because we used to call it
think they are.
Skinemax.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, Cinemax After Dark, man. That was it. And you wanted to see boobies and butts, that was the time to watch it. Because Cinemax from about 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock on was nothing but boobs and butts. HBO, I think it was like after midnight.
Showtime, man.
You know, oh, I never watched Showtime.
I didn't either, but I could hear it in the next room.
Ah,
Ugh.
but you know, so they got rid of that fairness doctrine, and NBC here, and you know, MSNBC. Remember, MSNBC started off as a joint effort between Microsoft and NBC.
Yeah.
That all right? That I don't know how many people even realize that anymore. But that's what the MS stands for. There is Microsoft, or that's what it stood for. I don't know if it still does or not. But let's listen to these two hens cackle.
I mean what I said on the air last night on my show, that I think that acknowledging that you might have gotten something wrong is a real sign of strength, a real show of strength. And I think it's a show of strength. And I think it's a show of respect for the people who work at this company and who make us who we are. That leadership was willing to change on this. And I'm grateful to them. You know, it's not about hiring a Republican. It's not even about hiring somebody who has Trump ties. This was a really specific case because of Ms. McDaniel's and her involvement in the election interference stuff. And I'm grateful that
The election interference stuff. Remember, the only MSNBC has said, and I think, do I still have the video of that? NBC at one time, MSNBC at one time said that they would never have, or recently said that they should never have anybody on that talked about election interference or that an election was not honest. Okay. But MSNBC and NBC, they literally remember Trump's first election. That I lost that tab here. Trump's first, when Trump was elected, how it was, even they had Hillary Clinton up there. Trump is not a legitimate president.
Oh, bullshit.
Okay. They had sitting senators, Democratic senators, sitting House members. Trump is not a legitimate president. Every one of these news hosts, Trump is not a legitimate president. He was elected through Russian interference. He's not legitimate. The pure hypocrisy from these people. And like I said, I'm not a Ronna McDaniel fan. I don't care about her. I'm glad, in a way, I'm glad she's gone, because between her and Mitch McConnell, they cost us seats in Alaska and other states because they didn't want to fund certain people. And I swear they cost Republicans some seats there. But yeah, so the pure hypocrisy of the left is out there, and like I said, there's hypocrisy on the right, but the right doesn't control the airwaves. The right doesn't control the news media. The right doesn't control the print media. At best, we got the right, the conservatives have a toehold, not a foothold, but a toehold on the internet, and that's about it. We don't even have cable anymore. We can't even say Fox News is the conservative news source anymore. Is it conservative compared to MSNBC and CNN? Yeah. But is it really a conservative or center? At best, I think you can call it center right. But I don't think you can call it conservative anymore. Not like it used to be. But anyway. Since I did have that on my thumbnail, I did need to bring it up. Oh, how'd you like my, did you see my
You what?
X post about the stream today?
No, I got the link from messages. Hold on,
Oh, okay.
show me. Should stupid suited strikes. That's pretty.
How you like that?
That's very pretty. It's well coordinated. I like that.
StreamYards did that for me.
Okay.
You can now, StreamYards now can has their own, allow the AI to make up your thumbnail.
Oh, okay. Okay, but you get to look at it and like
Yeah.
accept it before. Okay, that had me a little
Right.
worried for a second. Not gonna lie.
Right. Yeah. You can do it, but yeah, StreamYards created that for me today.
Okay, I like the color.
And it's got the date and time in it and GMT -5. Yeah, that's I like that. That's why I went ahead and used that instead of the usual thumbnail. I thought that was kind of neat.
It's kind of cool.
Spanky, you went outside. Puppy walked over to the. I'm sitting on the kitchen. I'm sitting on the living room couch, and Spanky was asleep on the couch next to me, and he decided to walk to the door. That is my usual sound when I get up and have to walk.
It's sad because I'm right there with you. My hip just screams when I get up.
My saw my neurologist this week, and he's saying that I had that nerve induction study done, and he goes, well, we can now see exactly, or not exactly, but pretty close to how much damage is being done to the nerve shaft itself. And, he goes, well, let me show you how I can describe the nerves. I said, if you're going to use the bundle of wires, yes, I understand that. Think of the nerves running through your body as wiring, and the sheathing being the insulation being the Mylar sheathing on your nerves. Well, the damage on my nerves has mostly been to the sheathing. That's what causes them to short out, why I always feel like I'm always laying up against an electrical fence. Well, evidently now the damage has progressed to the nerve itself, to the nerves themselves. But anyway, let's see. Don't want to talk about that. What's this here? Oh, that squatting. We've already covered the squatting. I'm just looking through the stuff I got going. I've got to show this. I've got to show this video, and then that's going to be it because it's 20 after 11
It
now.
is.
So, okay. Oh, I could have just shared this tab. Since this is Senator Kennedy, one of my favorite senators to be dealing with.
Huh?
Okay, to watch his.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chopra, for being here. You just have a data breach at your agency, is that correct?
We have an insider threat that transferred on an unauthorized basis some emails to their.
Yes or no? Did you have a data breach? Yes. Okay. Plain and simple, yes.
It was just a little one.
Okay. You know, I love these guys that get up there and they you know, what should be a 1 second, one word answer, they try to expel it out to foreverness.
And they just divert it to a whole other topic that's completely unrelated.
Or, you know, just an attempt to run out the clock.
Uh-huh.
That's what it is.
And you were in charge when this happened? Is
Of
that
course,
correct?
yes.
Okay. And this wasn't an attack from outside your agency. It came from inside of your agency. Is that correct?
That's right. Our systems were not penetrated. It was not a hack in that way,
Right.
but we had an employee who worked for
Well,
us
Did
who sent those emails.
the data for 256,000 consumers was breached? Is that correct?
Yeah, we looked through
But
the
is my number
emails.
correct?
I believe that's right. Yes, but it was not their. It was not any social security number, birth dates, any of
It was
that.
their data though, right?
It was the institution's data, but it had their name. So
Well, it was their names, and well, we didn't give out this, and it wasn't that. Was it their data that was given out? Yes or no? Now, I see. I could not last long on these committees because it would be. I'm going to ask you questions, and for most of them, I want a yes or no answer. I will tell you when I want an explanation. But if I'm asking a question, it's yes or no. Only if I say, will you explain? Do I want to hear anything besides yes or no out of your mouth? But let's see here. Thank I'm trying to get to one particular point here where he asked this particular question. Okay, here we go. There we go.
to the final, the congressional requirement, and we were under a court order,
Don't
requires
don't
race.
filibuster me.
No, it
Mr.
does
Soper.
require
Just
race.
answer my questions, okay? Is your rule going to require banks to ask the customer about their race,
So that is
Yes
in
or
this
no?
that is in the statute, and
about their race, or is your rule going to require the bank to ask the customer about their ethnicity?
so just to be clear, in the sample form, it allows the borrower to self-identify or refuse.
Just answer my question.
No, I'm
Mr.
trying to be
Soper.
clear.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
Huh?
Your rule would require a bank to ask the question of a small business person, what's your race? What's your ethnicity? What's your sexual preference? Are you gay? Are you a woman?
What is a woman?
Now that's
Do you self-define as a woman? And you see what the point he's trying to get to here, real simple. You know, these are people going in for a business loan. That's it. They're going in and asking for a business loan. And this CFBP director, what they're handing out, saying the banks have to do, and you heard him say, well, we give them a sheet that they fill all this stuff out. Why do they have to fill that out to start with? What matter does it matter who or what I want to sleep with and what I have between my legs, whether or not my business can get this loan? None of that should matter. Now, they've been tracking the male female forever, and they've been tracking the races forever because, they want to make sure the banks aren't being, are only being racist and sexist against white males, against whites and males, but, they want to make sure that they're approving the proper number of minorities and females. That's why those questions have been on there for what, probably about 30 years or more, to make certain that, minorities and women are getting all the loans that they want. But now, they're putting in there, who do you identify as and who do you like to sleep with? Because they're now legally disparaged groups. And at one point here, and I'm hoping I get to it,
wrap this
get
all
to
you
it
want,
here
but
soon.
that's what your rule does. Now, the customer, particularly in a small town, is going to go, whoa, what's my sexual preference have to do with a loan? And the customer can say, I don't want to answer. But then the bank you're requiring the bank to tell you that they wouldn't answer. And all of this data is going to go to your agency. And we don't have the slightest idea how you're going to use it, except you say you're going to publish it.
Well, we will not get any names at all.
But
They-
yeah, but you,
All right, here we go.
what business is that of yours?
we sought to implement what the
What
congressional
business is that
requirements
of
are.
yours? What a small businesswoman does in her bedroom. Who
Again,
appointed you Pope?
again, people are able to self-identify if they wish.
You're
to
making
refuse, they
them.
can. We are not making.
Yes, you are.
No, we're not.
And if
It's
they
very
don't
clearly-
answer, the bank has got to tell you. And we have no idea how you're going to use this information.
Well, I'm
You can't-
I'm happy to meet
Director
with you
Chopra-
about it further.
Anyway, I just love the way Kennedy, he's already got all the if you're going up there in front of Kennedy, either as especially as a judicial nominee. Oh, and I've got some of Kennedy's judicial nominees here, some fresh ones that questioning that that's what I was going to use today. Today was going to be a lot of Kennedy because I just love that guy. I do. I love him and Blackburn. I love them too with their and Josh Hawley. I love them in their questioning because they are so direct. They've got all their information, and they set traps for people. But hey, Wiley, how you doing today? But yeah, there's Chopra. I think he's Indian there.
Yeah, that's
Willie.
Indian.
Yeah, Indian, Pakistani, somewhere around there. In that, what's it called now? Southeastern. It's not.
Asia.
Yeah, Southeast Asia. Yeah. So, anywho, damn, this 2.5 hours now. And I could go another, if I didn't want for the fact that I've got errands I've got to run. I've got to go pick up I've got to do a CT scan sometime in the next couple of weeks. All right. And the doctor's prescribed, I've gotten to be a bit claustrophobic over the years, to where my heart rate, the last time I went for a CT scan without taking any pills for it, my blood pressure hit 180 and so did my heart rate.
Damn.
I mean, I scared the death out of those people running the CT scan. Because I mean, I don't remember much of it other than the fact I started freaking out. I was okay until they started asking me questions, and I opened my eyes, and there's like 2 inches of space between my nose and the top of that CT scan. And then I mean, I used to work up underneath the rudder pedals of jets where there was no room to work. Never bothered me. And all of a sudden, probably about 8 years ago, I got claustrophobic. And so I've got to go pick up 3 pills that I've got to take. That's going to all but knock me out. And I've got to pay $8 per pill.
That's fucking crazy.
And that's after my insurance. So I hope these pills are worth it. I hope they are worth it and they do their job. My wife's got to take the day off work though to be with me all day. Because my doctor warned her that I will not be myself until the drugs wear off.
Oh.
What do you mean by that? And, she's looking at me and she's looking at the doctor. What do you mean by that? And he goes, they affect different people different ways, but nobody's ever quite the same as they normally are after they take these. And it's like, okay.
Oh God.
Oh God, could you do a high stream? Everybody does drug streams. I come home and do a high stream.
Okay, I'm gonna confess a good deal of my streams in the past have been stoned streams. So yeah. I'm just me, but more me.
Could you imagine me high or stoned?
Oh, I think about it a lot actually. You're so fucking chill. I couldn't picture you stoned though, because I can't see how you could get any more fucking relaxed. Like you just sound so fucking man, whatever. I can't see you just smoking weed or taking something. And no,
Yeah.
I think if anything, if you got any more fucking relaxed, your heart would be going in reverse if that's possible. I don't even fucking know. There's no way.
Oh man, no, I've never smoked weed.
Me neither.
I've never smoked it. I held an unlit joint one time when I was 18 years old. The first time I ever saw one was when my supervisor picked me up at the airport to take me to my first active duty base. That wasn't a training base. My supervisor met me at the airport, and on the way, he's in uniform. I'm in uniform. And he pulls out a joint from his ashtray and offers it to me.
I've never smoked weed, but when I was living with my abusers, they would wake me up in the middle of the night and make me roll them joints. So I could do it one-handed and under like 10 seconds by the time I got out of that fucking house, man. Dude, it was not a fun time.
And now that I'm 64, soon to be 60. God, I can't believe I'm going to be 65 here.
Stop giving out information.
I can't believe I'm going to be turning 65 here in a few months. Oh,
No,
I don't want to get old.
I'm 29. I'm gonna be 29 forever.
That
was a good.
I have no idea what I am mentally, but I do not want to be a physical 65-year-old. I just know that I remember my grandfather's 65th birthday. Okay. And he was the guy, literally. I remember to this day the only compliment that man ever gave me.
Oh.
And that was during a barn raising, and my job was to walk around with buckets of water so everybody could have water to drink. And that night, when we're all sitting there eating, because while all the males were outside raising the barn, all the women were inside cooking. Okay. And that night, while we're sitting there eating, my grandfather turned to my mom and dad and said, "He did good today. We never got thirsty."
Okay.
And that was the only compliment that man ever paid me.
Aw.
The probably the nicest thing that man ever said to me. He was just I just can't imagine myself ever being like him or looking like him. But I mean, he grew up, I mean, he was born in the 1800s. He was in his 30s during the Depression. So, my grandmother was born in 1901. That you want to talk about a different generation and
Dude,
people
my
who
mom was born during the Depression, so yeah, she was
and,
like one of the last real Southern belles, so I get it.
and
Oh my
people
God.
who look their age, when you
Yeah.
think of a 60-year-old, these people looked like they were 60 years old.
Oh yeah. My mom was in her 50s when she passed, and she looked it, man. Nowadays, 50 is like the new 35 or some shit people are saying. I
Yeah.
don't know. And they're raising the fucking retirement ages, and, it's, I don't know. When you were in your 50s, when I was a kid, you were a grandma. You had gray hair and were the grandma, and now
You wore the dresses that come down below your
flower
knees.
dresses. Oh my God, fucking mama's family.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what you
Yes.
fucking wore, and you had the body to match. Oh my God.
Yeah, and the boobs were down around your waistline.
Unless you wore a bra, and then they were just like big and right in front. But
Yes.
yeah, I look back on my neighbors who were all old and shit, and I think nowadays they wouldn't have looked like that. They're all from their old country and shit, like Italy and whatever, and they were just these old grandma looking men. And yeah, that wouldn't be the case now.
Yeah. I mean,
They
yeah,
would
'cause,
dye in their hair and all kind of shit. Ugh.
sitting there wearing the little wire rim glasses.
Oh.
Yeah. And dentures. They all had false teeth. None of them had their own teeth. So, oh, Lord have mercy. Well, Retro Tire Willie,
Oh.
I'm Mike. Thank you all for showing up today. I do appreciate you. It's been fun. Sean, yeah, that's right. Sean was with us today. And I'm going to cry because I can't remember her name.
It wasn't Rachel, was it?
Huh?
What? Sorry.
No. I'm going to. No disrespect, man. If I don't remember your name, no disrespect or anything else. Y'all know my memory anymore. It hurts that I can't remember half the people, half these. I mean, hell, I couldn't even think of Liz Cheney's name.
I couldn't either. Don't worry about it.
or
Then again,
Adam Zingelbush,
I don't know.
you know. So anyhow, I want to thank everybody for popping in today and listening to me have a little bit of a spew for a while. Ramen, my favorite noodle head. Thank you for popping on.
I'm very happy.
You know, even though you are wrong.
Oh my God, we're gonna fight backstage, y'all. I'm selling tickets. Somebody start a book. Let's go.
Any words of wisdom from you before we leave out of here? Are you streaming anything here?
I haven't streamed in like a year because I got bullied off the internet. So I don't.
No,
I
you're
haven't
still game streaming, aren't you?
No, I haven't streamed anything in a year. That's all I did was like I streamed a few months ago and it did not go well. I don't know. I mean,
Okay.
We'll see what happens.
All
But
right. Well,
I'll be posting it on X.
I want to thank everybody for coming out. We love you. We enjoy having you.
Tolerate the rest of you.
Conversation is always good in chat. All right. Y'all have a good one, and we will talk to you. Tomorrow's fun stream, so no politics allowed.
No abortion arguments?
No abortion arguments.
Damn. Okay.
Okay?
All
All right. Bye-bye, all.
Bye, y'all.